What up? How's it going, peeps? Happy Friday night. Hope y'all are doing well. Please excuse my voice being a little bit lost. I went skiing on Wednesday for my birthday, and we had some pretty decent conditions. So I was hooting and hollering on the mountain, lost my voice again, and it seems that so far in 2021 I've been a little bit without a voice. So my bad, but thought I would hop on here tonight, hang out for a little bit, because I got my monthly discount tackle package in today in the mail. So since my voice is a little messed up, I figured I might as well just do it live with you guys, hang out for a little bit, drink a beer, and show you what I picked up. And then I may or may not record the unboxing video itself to repost later. But Riley, how you doing? Doing pretty well, thank you very much for asking. My wife is at work. Put my daughters down about an hour ago, a little bit more, and all is well in the household. So thank you for asking. How are you doing right now? How's your body? Are you healing or what? I'm going to go ahead and just rip this open. A few people jumped in, and then looks like they just jumped back out, but I can't always tell who's in here and who's not. So if you are, leave a comment in the chat. Hit the thumbs up button for me, and let's just hang out for a little bit. Ryan, what's up, dude? How are you doing tonight? So I'm going to try and do this like I typically would a discount tackle unboxing video, and then we can just hang out for a little bit afterward. But here is a preview of what I picked up this month. Not too much, Clayton. How about you, man? So I'm not going to go down the list in any particular order. Got the card and the sticker as usual. I'm starting to collect these stickers like you wouldn't believe. So I need to start giving some away just so that you guys can have some and rep Discount Tackle on your tackle boxes or wherever you like to put your stickers. But let's just dive right in. Here is something that is not a lure, but rather a scent. I don't know if you guys use Procure or not, but this is the super gel in the Trophy Bass scent. So I use a few different scents, and Procure is a really good one, especially for a wide variety of soft plastics. Now, I've never used the Trophy Bass gel. I can't quite tell you what this smells like more than anything, but a little bit like Power Bait. What's cool about Procure is they use actual like residue. They take real stuff and grind it up. So they take fresh bait. They've got different scents, you know, shrimp, garlic, whatever, and they grind it up. And so it smells just like you would think. So this smells like bait. And this is made specifically for bass. So picked up a little 2-ounce bottle of the Trophy Bass gel. I intend to use that this year. I'll say, give a little bit of a shout out to, I forget the dude's name, but he started his own company this past year. It's called J. Corwin Lures. If you don't follow him on Instagram, you ought to. He's part of the Motion Fishing group. And he started producing his own soft plastics this past year. So he works with a company called Row Innovations, who 3D prints the molds for him. And so he'll go through a couple of prototype molds, and then eventually, once all the details are worked out, then he'll get them made in metal, I think aluminum cast molds. So really cool deal. But he uses the Procure Trophy Bass gel to marinate his baits when he packages them. So I thought I'd pick up some of that. Clayton says, this cold front is messing up the ice fishing. Interesting. What do you mean? It's just too cold, too windy to go out ice fishing? Or what are you talking about, man? Negative 25 windshield. Wow. Wind chill in Iowa. That is insanely cold. I don't blame you for not wanting to go out, man. Ryan says, getting ready for an ice fishing trip. Leaving on Thursday. It's been cold here in Saskatchewan. Negative 50 Celsius with the wind. That is brutal. Super cold, man. So we've got a little bit of a cold front here too right now. I want to say it's single digits Fahrenheit, maybe 5 to 10 degrees. So really chilly. But unfortunately, our waters are just kind of in between. We've had some spells of warmer weather mixed in with colder weather. And I'm just hoping and waiting for a month from now when I can go out and do some open water, cold water fishing, pre-spawn, throw around some cold water crankbaits, slow fish, and see what I can do to catch some fish in early March if possible. So anyway, I'm going to try and keep this stuff organized so I can potentially put it back in the packaging and maybe do an unboxing video later. But I'm not going to take this out of the package because I'm going to throw it in this next month's giveaway. This is the original Z-Man chatterbait, just the $5 chatterbait that they make in the fire craw color though. So very cool deal that they started making the fire craw color pattern in other chatterbaits and not just the jackhammer. So I have a feeling that the jackhammers aren't going to sell out quite as crazily as they did last year. You know, they were going for 30, 40, 50 bucks a pop on the black market last year, which is absolutely insane. But it's cool to see that they're making the original chatterbait and the new cross-eyes chatterbait, as well as the jackhammer, maybe a couple others, all in the fire craw color. So I have one of these guys new in the package as well that I'm going to throw in the giveaway in addition to the original chatterbait for this upcoming month. So Justin in the house. What's up, dude? How you doing, man? Peekaboo, says Justin. Darren in the house. What's up, dude? Appreciate you guys stopping in, hanging out for a little bit tonight. Next up is the 6 cent Ned Fry. This is a 4.6 inch Ned rig bait. I think I talked about it on last week's live stream because I did a little bit of underwater video footage of some Ned rig baits that are not made by Z-Man. And this was one of 3 that I was very, very impressed by due to its buoyancy. So what I do is trim this down to be a standard Ned rig size bait and then thread it on a typical mushroom style jig head. And I've got it in 3 or 4 different colors, but did not have any in the peanut butter and jelly, which they do really well. It's that deep purple bottom and that kind of natural worm top, that peanut butter with some red flake in it. I don't know if you guys can pick up the red flake or not, but what's cool about this bait, like I said, is that it's durable and it's super buoyant. So if you're going to rig this on, say, a wacky rig or a weighted wacky rig, it's going to fall slower than would be typical for a normal stick bait that has salt in it. Now, because it's so buoyant, you could leave this thing whole 4.6 inches, put a nail weight in the nose, and rig it wacky style, and this would make an awesome Nico rig bait. Great on a shaky head, or like I said, you trim it down, take about 2 inches off of it, and then you've got a standard Ned rig size bait, and it's killer on a Ned rig. So I wanted to pick it up in this color as well, just because peanut butter and jelly is kind of a favorite color of mine. So while on the topic of peanut butter and jelly, I also picked up a pack of the Z-Man hula sticks in the PB&J. And weirdly enough, the hula sticks is one bait that I actually have never had from Z-Man. You guys know how much I love Z-Man. I've got their stuff. I've got chatterbait trailers packed to the gills in this guy. I've got Ned rig baits in this one, stick baits in another one. I've got probably 50 or more packs of Z-Man soft plastics, and I swear by them. I like them quite a lot. But the hula sticks is a 4-inch bait, so it's bigger than the TRD ticklers, but it's smaller than the bang sticks. But it's the exact same concept where you get these tentacles on top, kind of like a tube, but then you get a solid body. So this is an oversized Ned rig bait. Also would be great on a Nico rig, great on a drop shot. You could kind of do a wide variety of stuff with it. And I know a lot of people who like the hula sticks as a great all-around bait. So the bang sticks is a little bit more technique specific to the Nico rig, and the TRD ticklers is a little bit more technique specific to the Ned rig. So the hula sticks fits kind of right in the middle of those two. You can do a wide variety of stuff with it. So on a Ned rig, I'll throw that on the Power Finesse Shrooms jig head, which is a little bit longer. I think uses a 2/0 hook, whereas the standard Ned uses like a size 1. So anyway, yeah, we're missing BJ and Ray. All right, let's just keep going with the soft plastics while we're at it. I got 2 more packs of Z-Man soft plastics. One in a bait that I throw a lot. This is the TRD Bugs. And this is in the Mud Bug color. So I've got 1 or 2 of their baits in the Mud Bug color. This is a very natural brown. Just a pretty plain looking color. And it's got some copper flake in it. And so this, to me, is a Ned rig bait or a micro jig trailer. And what I love about it is that it's got that typical, really subtle beaver action to it. So the claws aren't going to kick at all. They're not going to do a lot other than open when you move the bait and close when you kill the bait. So it has a really cool, subtle action to it. Very durable and a unique profile that's just a little bit different than, say, the TRD Craws. A little bit more subtle, and I like that. So picked up a pack of those and a pack of the lizards. I actually don't have these ones either. So 2 Z-Man baits that I have never owned before. I might be down to like 5 or less soft plastics that Z-Man makes that I've never had. And this is a 6-inch lizard. So very standard profile in terms of what you get here. But what makes it different is that it's made from Elastec and it's going to float. So on a Carolina rig, this thing is not going to sit on bottom. As you drag the Carolina rig, it's not going to go up a few inches and go back down. It's going to kind of hover in the water column. It depends on your leader length, but I think on a drop shot, on a wobble head, on a Carolina rig, the lizard from Z-Man could be awesome. So just picked it up in a standard green pumpkin. I've got some dye that I might mess with in putting on it before I fish it. We'll see about that. But decided to pick up a pack of those. All Z-Man baits, you can get a better deal on those from Discount Tackle than pretty much anywhere else online or in stores. So if you're looking to buy Z-Man soft plastics, I highly recommend that you go to Discount Tackle first. Use my link, obviously, if you'd be so kind. But Discount Tackle is the place to shop, okay? Darren says, anyone try out Bass Mafia bait coffin? My latches keep breaking, but I've gotten replacements from Bass Mafia. No, dude, I actually don't use anything Bass Mafia. I just use Flambeau and Plano, to be honest with you. So I can't quite speak to that. Good to hear, though, that they're taking care of you and that you've gotten replacement latches and all that. So You say once the summer hits and fishing, especially everywhere, we should make an online fishing tournament like everyone in the chat. Dude, that's a good idea. I would not be against that at all. If everyone wanted to pitch in a little bit of money, $5-10, and we could round up, 100 or $200, and put a time frame on it. Make sure that everybody's got to document their catches with length and weight, or just come up with some legitimate rules. I would love to do that. That would be a really cool idea. Now, we're all based in different locations, so of course I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage. Ron Hawley is too, especially because he's never caught a bass. But here in Colorado, our bass don't get much bigger than 5 or 6 pounds. And so my odds of winning are pretty low, but I honestly don't care. I'd be happy to do that. So if everybody's interested, we should just keep in touch about that later in the year. Say in a few months, once fishing really heats up, that could be super fun, dude. Darren says, what's your favorite wobble head to use? Been looking into some. There are 2 that I use most frequently. One is the what's it called? It's got an owner hook in it, and it's like the standard wobble head, dude. I might have to get back to you on that after the stream, but the newer one that I've been using is the Berkeley Fusion wobble head. Look into that one. Should be pretty easy to find. I think they call it the Berkeley Swing Head. And then the other one is, gosh, guys, help me out in the comments. What is the typical swing head bait on the market? It's the biffle bug, right? So the biffle hard head is the name of the jig, okay? So a wobble head it's pre-made. You can't swap the hooks out. The Biffle hard head comes with an owner hook on it, and the Berkeley swing head comes with a Fusion 19 EWG style hook in it, and I love both of those. Great hooks, great heads. I mean, you're going to get the paint is going to wear off of the heads, and that's just part of the game, but definitely look into those 2 as good options, okay? The other one that I might recommend is from Freedom Tackle, just because the Freedom system makes for an interchangeable hook design where you can screw off the hook that comes with the jig head, and you can put on whatever kind of hook you want. So you could put a straight shank flipping hook on there. You could put an offset worm hook if you're gonna swim a worm, or you could leave an EWG style hook on there if that's what you're gonna do, which most people would. But the cool thing is you could flip between a lighter wire EWG hook and something like a Gamakatsu Superline EWG, depending on how big the fish are that you're fishing for, stuff like that. So next up is the Yum Spine Craw. I've actually never fished this bait before, but I heard about this on the Smallmouth Crush live stream last week. And I'm not going to say much more about it other than the fact that this bait was really talked up. And so I felt the need to at least check it out because I'd never seen it in person, and it's cheap, as is the case with all Yum soft plastics. I'm pretty sure the dude that was talking about them used to be or still is a pro for Yum. So, of course, he's a little bit biased. But what he said about this bait is that the kickers on this guy compared to, say, like the Zoom Ultra Vibe Speed Craw are thinner. And they kick in colder water and with more ease than, say, the average Speed Craw does. So I might believe that, seeing the thinness of these kickers. And then the other thing to note is the hook slot. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it does have a hook slot up here at the top. So it's got a relatively thin, not so meaty body. And so you can rig this thing Texas style or put a flipping hook in it, and it will not take much to penetrate the bait and set the hook on a fish once you get a bite. So pretty cool deal there, knowing that the hookup ratio on these should be pretty good and the action on these should be a little bit unique as well. So again, that's the Spine Craw from Yum. I got this in 2 colors. This one here is called Bama Magic. It's like green pumpkin blue. And the other one that I got is more of like a mud bug color, and they just call it Natural. So let me see if you can look at that. It is like a clear orangish type of color with a bunch of flake in there. Gold, purple, black flake. Pretty cool looking bait. Justin says, Tyler, I got the 6-pounder I'm stocking in the lake. It's down the road from last summer. Right on, dude. Yep. Well, that might not be enough to win the tournament, but if you could catch it, that would help your chances for sure, Justin. Clayton says, I'm headed to Colorado later this year. Any good places near Colorado Springs to fish? Yeah, dude, there's a lot. Get in touch with me offline. I can give you some suggestions. Also, it depends on who you're fishing with, because I'm only about 45 minutes to an hour north of Colorado Springs. So I'd probably be willing to meet up with you, dude. Take a day off of work and go fishing together. There's some really good reservoirs in the Colorado Springs area. And yeah, I can give you some tips. Also, there's a lot of great trout fishing. So it depends on what it is that you're looking to do. So get in touch with me, man. Darren, no problem. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you for hanging out for a little bit. Appreciate you, dude. All right, guys. Next up is the Yum Dinger. This is the 5-inch, just the standard size. But this is a unique color pattern that they call Summer Gill. Okay? Same guy that was talking up that Spine Craw was talking up this color of the Dinger. I don't throw the Yum Dinger very much. And here's why. I know that it's a very popular Senko style bait because it's really cheap. In comparison to the Yamamoto Senko, it is less than half the price, right? A bag of Senkos is going to cost you like $8. A bag of Dingers is going to cost you like $3. So, in theory, the Dinger is just a way better bang for your buck. But one thing that is crucial when it comes to Senko fishing is the action of the bait. Now, it looks like this thing has a lot of action, right? But it does not have a lot of salt in it. And the fall rate of this bait is super slow. Like, probably 4 or 5 times slower than the Yamamoto Senko, which is loaded with salt. So you get more durability and a much better price out of the Yum Dinger, but you get a totally different action and a very, very slow fall. And in my opinion, that could be good sometimes, but in general, I think the Senko is as popular as it is because it falls fast and has that undeniable, irresistible shimmy that bass just can't help themselves but eat. So this color here is like a green pumpkin watermelon with some blue flake in it. Check this thing out. It's really gorgeous. But what this guy was saying on the Smallmouth Crush podcast was that this thing, once you put it in the water, totally changes color and imitates a perch remarkably well. So I've got a number of bodies of water here in Colorado, local to me, where there are perch in the water, okay? I've made a point over the last year or two to stock up on perch imitating lures. You know, I've got a couple just right here in front of me. This is a bluegill swim bait. This is a perch style tail spinner. I've got a bunch of perch pattern baits, maybe even 1 or 2 here in the bag that I'm going to pull out here in a second. So I couldn't help myself but pick up those Dingers to just see what they look like underwater, see if I couldn't get a couple extra bites in those particular situations. So since I was just talking about it, here I've got two of the KVD 1.5 flat side crankbaits in the chartreuse perch color. Okay? I'm going to open one of them for you right now and not the other, just because there's a possibility that I'm going to give one of them away. I do like to have duplicates in my box. And as for my flat-sided crankbaits, this box is not super full, but these are my KVD 1.5s down here. These are the new Rapala OG Slims. I've got the 6 cents Crush 75 flat and a couple other mixed ones in here, including the Berkeley Fritz side in there. So there might be a couple of Fritz sides in here that I'll show you in a second, but here is the KVD 1.5 flat. Really legit bait. What's different, it's got the same body as the 1.5 square bill. I think it also weighs 3/8 of an ounce. So very similar lure as the square bill. However, it's got this longer round bill and it's got a flat body. Okay, so it's going to have a tighter wobble and it's going to dive deeper and it's going to deflect differently. So this is a cold water bait specifically for fishing around rock more so than wood. If you fish it around wood, it is going to roll more. You're going to be more prone to snagging. So I didn't have any of the 1.5 flats in a perch pattern. The closest thing I had was like a chartreuse blackback. So I decided to pick up two of those. Mostly selfishly just thinking for my own collection, but I might end up giving one away. Now, I did just mention the Fritz side, so I've got 3 of them in here that I picked up this month. Justin, that was called the Summer Gill. Very cool color, and apparently it changes color underwater. It looks that much better in the water than it does out. And I think it looks pretty damn good out of the water. So, yeah. Anyway, check those out, especially from Discount Tackle. I think you can get them for $3 a pack. So, next up is the Berkeley Fritz side. These are another flat side crankbait. Excels in cold water. They make these in 3 sizes. The 9 is the biggest. The 5 is the smallest. And the 7 is the middle. So, that KVD 1.5 dives right in the range of 10 feet. The Fritzside 9 does as well. The Fritzside 9 has a little bit better casting distance. Golly, they make these really hard to open. I might not open all 3 of these to show you just because that's a lengthy process, but this color is called Lone Ranger and I like it. It's a chartreuse with a black back, a little bit of like silver sides to it, silver shoulders. What you'll notice about the Fritz side is that 1, it's got a coffin shaped bill, not totally rounded but also not square. So pretty unique there. It's got a weight in the lip. And then it also has 2 weights on the belly of the bait. So very interesting design. This size 9 weighs, I think, a ½ ounce. Yep, dives 7 to 10 feet. It's a little bit longer of a profile at 2 3/4 inches long. Does not have a rattle in it, nor does that KVD 1.5 flat, but really, really well-designed bait, super thin. So definitely thinner in profile than that 1.5 flat, and I've heard nothing but good things about this bait. So I just recently picked up a couple of them and thought that I would grab a couple more. But by the time I went to make the purchase, most of the colors on Discount Tackle were sold out, because best price you can find online for the Fritzside baits is on Discount Tackle. So it was kind of slim pickings by the time I got there. So I decided to step down and get 2 in the size 7. And These are a little unconventional colors. So this is called brown craw, and that's exactly what it is. Just a very basic kind of dark brown, a little bit of orangish, almost red painting on the bottom. So a little bit of a crawfish pattern, but it's a dark brown. And then the other one is like a typical sexy shad, and they call it sexy back. Okay? So, of course, you're going to get a blue back, white sides, and belly, a little bit of orange on the throat, and that chartreuse line down the middle. The 7 size, unlike the 9, weighs 3/7 of an ounce, which is kind of a weird size, but a little bit heavier than a 3/8, but definitely not as heavy as a half. So 12 grams to be specific, and this thing dives 5 to 7 feet. So the size 5 only dives like 3 to 5 feet. And in my opinion, once you're getting that shallow, you might as well be throwing a square bill or a flat-sided square bill. I've got a couple of baits in that category that I already like to throw, like the Evergreen Flat Force. So I decided to just get the 7 and the 9 for now. Okay, one other bait that I picked up last month and couldn't help myself but pick up one more of these is the new KVD jerk bait in the size 100. So far, I'm very impressed with the look of this bait, okay? Obviously, I haven't thrown it yet, but this guy is a very small profile jerk bait. Now, it is lightweight. I want to say it's like a 1/4 ounce, okay? So this is probably not going to be for standard bait casting gear, but this is a color that I love. It's called Crystal Shad. I've got this color pattern in a couple of their larger jerk baits. As you can see, it's got a purple back, kind of a silvery side with that chartreuse line, a little bit like a sexy shad, but with a little bit more flick in it. So I like that quite a lot. As you can hear, there's a rattle in it. Relatively loud. It's not a typical weight transfer system, but, well, it might even technically be a weight transfer system. So I think the balls are going to stay in the nose when you're working the bait, but as you cast, they are going to go to the back. It's not magnetic or anything like that, but I can see the chamber here where they do kind of get stuck in the front unless you flick it or go back to cast the bait. So really cool design. This little jerk bait is just like not even 4 inches long. I want to say 3.5 inches long. Dives somewhere in the like 3 to 5 foot range. So it's a little bit more shallow diving than the other KVD jerk baits, which for their class tend to dive a little bit deeper than most. So you get that shorter lip on here and a smaller profile, lighter bait. So when fish are feeding on smaller bait, or you're fishing in pressured bodies of water, this size 100 jerkbait is going to get the job done. I've got one more lure in here, and this was a little bit of an impulse buy, and mostly just because I saw it on clearance on Discount Tackle. And this is the River to Sea Bubble Popper. I have the Bubble Walker in the big size. It's a giant bait. It's a hybrid topwater walking bait / popper. But this right here is their popper, okay? So it's not made to be a walking bait, though of course you could work it like that and it will still do some walking for you. But this is the Bubble Popper, meant to be popped, blooped in place. But a couple cool features about this, just like the Bubble Walker, is that it's got slits in the head of the bait. So it's a lot like the Megabass Pop Max, okay? In terms of leaving a bubble trail behind the bait when you work it. It does have a little bit of a rattle. Well, pretty obnoxiously loud. I like that. And this is all chrome. So the color is called Chrome Black. and it was on clearance for like, I don't know, $7 or something. I want to say it retails for $12 or $13, and it's probably worth that. But for half the price, I couldn't help but pick it up. I don't have any poppers in like a straight chrome color, so for high sun, middle of the summer, when they might be feeding up on top water baits, this would be kind of where I would throw that ordinarily. Now, of course, just like anybody else, I like to fish top water, low light conditions, kind of first thing in the morning or at nighttime. That's when they're going to be feeding on top the best. But that said, I've had a lot of success on like the whopper plopper, walking baits, frogs, and poppers in the middle of the day. So I figured might as well pick that up, mostly because of the price tag, but also because it's a good bait and I don't have anything like it. So that is it for this month, even though it was kind of a lot. So hope you guys liked what you saw. Feel free to ask any questions you have in the comment section. I know that things have slowed down quite a bit in the comments, but let me try and catch up here. Looks like Frankie's in the building. What's up, dude? How are you doing? Frankie says he posted his first video today. Congratulations, man. What'd you make your video of? And yeah, we might as well all go subscribe to Frankie when we're done here and check out his new video. Give him a couple thumbs up. Good for you for getting started, man. What do you intend for your content to be about on YouTube primarily? I mean, obviously fishing, but what kind of channel do you intend to have? If you guys didn't see already, I posted a video, I think yesterday, on the improved clinch knot and how to tie it. Just a short little 3-minute video. And yeah, I intend to post a lot more knot tying videos. I've been telling you guys that for a while. That, in addition to like rigging videos, how to rig a Texas rig, how to rig a drop shot, you know, just go all through the range of different presentations, because I know that that's a lot of content that people seek out on the internet. It might not be exactly what you guys want to see all the time, but you know, if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to by any means. I'm just trying to help people out when and where I can, and I know that that's something that is highly sought after content, and even stuff that I've looked up a number of times in the past. So, you know, something like how to tie the FG knot, for example. Like, a lot of people look for main line to leader knots, how to spool a reel up with line, differences between fluorocarbon, mono, and braid, and when to use each type. All sorts of stuff like that that's a little bit more introductory, educational type of content is my my interest more than anything. Although, of course, in the future, over time, there will probably be more and more content that is just pure fishing, a little bit more entertainment focused, where I'm showing you guys exactly what I'm doing in what situations, showing you some fish catches, things like that. But as you know, with 2 young kids, going on 3 here in the next couple weeks, it's tough for me to get out for more than like an hour or 2 at a time to do some fishing. So the majority of my videos would be me catching like anywhere from 1 to 5 fish. It's very rare for me to go out for 2 hours and smack them and catch 10 fish. So in terms of like the volume, the amount of content that I can throw together in an entertainment style video just isn't all that realistic at this point in time. Now, I've got goals for the future where I fully intend and hope to get a boat and get out on the water for full day sessions in the way that I do for skiing these days, and convince my wife that it's a good investment and something that's great for my mental health. And yeah, for now, I just convince her that it's good for my mental health to be down here, organizing my baits, thinking about fishing, and occasionally going fishing. By occasionally, I mean 5 to 7 times a week for an hour or two at a time, whether it's early morning, late night, or on my lunch break. So, anyway, it's just a little bit of a different, everyone's got their own situation in terms of when they're able to get out, how they go about fishing. So, Frankie, what was your video about, dude? Ask me some comments or ask me some questions in the comment section down below. I'm not going to hang out here forever tonight, guys, especially because my voice is a little bit jacked up and the comment section has really slowed down. I'm not sure if you guys are just bored with me or if you're busy doing other stuff as well, but there's 5 people in here right now, 9 thumbs up. Hope y'all are having a good Friday night. Let's have a little bit of a conversation before I dip out of here. I felt like there were a couple things that I did want to talk to you about, other things that I've had on my mind, but it's not coming to me at the moment, so I'm probably not going to stay on here too much longer if I don't see you guys popping off, either saying stuff or asking stuff. Because last thing I see in the comments is Frankie saying that he posted his first video and Riley encouraging him, saying, happy for you. Do you guys have any questions? Anything you're excited about right now? What have you guys been up to lately? I think I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, my birthday was just 2 days ago. I went up to the mountains, did some skiing with a couple of my buddies, and that is the reason that my voice is now mostly gone again, is that we had some pretty good conditions and we're hauling ass down the mountain all day long, and I was hooting and hollering, just having a ball. So I was hollering and kind of blew out my voice a little bit. So yesterday was pretty bad. I couldn't talk much at all. Today I'm halfway back. Their birthday wishes, I do appreciate that. I did not mention that it was my birthday because I was looking for birthday wishes, but nice of you to say so, man. Ryan says, I'm going to use a white chatterbait for ice fishing Lakers this week. Everyone uses white tubes. Thought maybe it would work. That's interesting, dude. A white chatterbait. I know that lipless crankbaits work pretty well on the ice, as do spoons. So I don't see why a white chatterbait wouldn't, especially if you threw something a little bit smaller profile. Now, I know lake trout can get to be pretty big, but something like the mini or micro chatterbait from Z-Man, I'm sure would work really well. Sorry about that, guys. What about something like this, Ryan? Like a mini or micro style chatterbait, something that's a little bit smaller profile, you know, or a small swim bait that's like 3 inches. Like the Megabass Spark Shad in the 3-inch would probably be absolutely killer through the ice. Now, not the most durable bait, but if you threw something like the Z-Man Baby Goat, or you know, the new chatterbait, the Willow Vibe, or the mini or micro chatterbait, I think these things would get munched. So, I don't know, if you're throwing a full-size chatterbait, it might be a little bit overkill and harder to work the bait, especially if you're just kind of vertically jigging the bait. So, anyway, it's a cool idea, dude, and I'd definitely be curious to know how it works out for you. Very interesting. So good luck to you. Hope everything goes well on the ice later this week, man. I need to make a point to get up and do some ice fishing for lake trout here in Colorado. That's something that I haven't gotten into that I someday in the future really do want to get into. It's one of those weird things where like kind of like snowboarding for me. You know, I grew up skiing and it's what I'm really good at, what my passion is in those conditions. So if I'm making the trip, you know, to drive 2.5 hours up to mountains from here in Denver, um, usually I'm going skiing. I'm not going snowboarding. I'm not going ice fishing. I'm not doing something that I don't know how to do. Depending on the conditions, I'll go fly fishing in the wintertime. Um, but usually, I'm not doing so much ice fishing. I just don't have the gear for it. Now, there are some people that I know who do it, and I just need to make sure I need to get in touch with them and try and bum, you know, a trip. I need to see if I can hang out with them, chill in their tent, utilize their equipment, etc. So I believe you. I'm sure it's a ball, dude. Catching big walleye, big lake trout through the ice is probably super fun. Um, yeah, dude. You're going to start at 110 feet and move around until you find them. Good Lord. That is deep, dude. Do you drop it all the way to the bottom at 110 feet, or are they suspended up somewhere in the column? Because that is insane. I mean, do you have to use a specialty reel to hold extra line? Um, and also, what's the effect of bringing a fish up from that deep? Do they stay healthy, or do you keep them and eat them? Like if you're bringing them up off the bottom in 100+ feet and they come out of the water for a few minutes, you take a picture, you release them, are they able to go all the way back to the bottom and stay healthy just fine? Because that's wild, dude. Riley says Louisiana's expecting uh, snow for like the next 4 days. A foot of snow. That's insane. When was the last time you guys got a foot of snow? That sounds pretty wild to me. Um, well, not that insane here, but to be down in Louisiana getting that kind of snow, I know is a rarity. We get a couple storms like that every year. Last week up in the mountains, we got 13 inches of snow. My dad said it was one of the best uh, days he's had like in the last year or two. Definitely the best day of skiing this year. He's already gotten 30 or 40 days in this season. And yeah, so 13 inches overnight is a good amount of snow. But for you guys down in Louisiana, that sounds like a lot of snow for sure. Ryan says, yeah, drop to the bottom and then just start reeling up and they chase. That's insane. Lakers can actually burp. So they equalize and don't get bloated. They swim off just fine. Good to know. I actually did not know that. That is fascinating. So you don't have to fizz them or anything like you would with a smallmouth or other species of fish, huh? They just burp and they can equalize. That's pretty cool, man. Riley says it's been 16 years since Louisiana's got that kind of snow. That is insane. The Super Bowl, I thought was unfortunately a little bit boring. Now, I got hats off to the Bucks. I am not a big Tampa Bay fan, but they dominated the Chiefs, and I did not see that coming. In fact, I thought if anything, it was going to go the other way around, or that it would be a tight game. I did not see the Chiefs getting blown out and not being able to turn it around. But that Bucks defense, especially up front, just put so much pressure on Mahomes, and that was impressive. So good for them. You know, Tom Brady did his thing, had a pretty good performance, and whatever. I guess he deserves the MVP. He deserves the GOAT status in the NFL. There's just something about him, right? The way that he can recruit and rally and motivate the players around him. So good for them. You know, to think the squad that they put together this year and the way that they finished the season these last 12 to 15 weeks was pretty crazy. So while it wasn't that close or interesting of a game itself, it was an impressive performance. Tampa Bay, whatever. I think it'll be fascinating to see what Brady decides to do, though, over the next few years. I mean, is he going to stick it out and actually play past 45 like he says he is? Or is he going to retire? Say, if they made it and won again next year, will he go out on top? Kind of like John Elway did back in the day after winning the repeat? I don't know. But I will say he's still got it. He's still, his arm is still solid, which is extremely rare. You see guys like Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, the best of them, once they get to like their late 30s, their arm starts to get pretty weak. And that has not happened to Tom Brady. So to think what he's achieved since the age of 37, putting together another 3 Super Bowls, I think it's 3, maybe 4, but super impressive stuff. So anyway, guys, fire off any other questions that you have in the comment section. Let's talk about baits. Let's talk about fishing, whatever you want to talk about. And then I'll dip out of here in probably the next 10, 15 minutes and let you guys have a great rest of your night. So if you're in here right now watching, you haven't hit the thumbs up button, do me that solid. There's 9 people in here, 10 thumbs up. Hope you guys are having a great Friday night. I've got 1.5 million baits here on my table, on that table, rigged up in these boxes. I am freaking pumped for pre-spawn fishing here, but unfortunately we're going to have to wait another month or 6 weeks before I can really get out and do anything about it. So Rally says, yeah, I'm interested in that. Unfortunately, we lost Breeze this year when he retired. Yep, definitely sad for you guys, considering that he was the heart of your franchise, and it'll be hard to replace him, right? I mean, he's been rock solid for you guys for so long. So anyway, that's all you can ask for, right? Is to have a franchise quarterback for a long time and to just know that you guys are solid and likely to make the playoffs and have a run at it year after year. Ryan says, I'll try to get some pics and vids of them chasing on the sonar. That would be sweet, dude. Please do that. Riley says, any pros and cons about the Mad Dog? When you say the Mad Dog, what bait are you talking about? I've got the Mega Dog from Strike King. I've got the 6 Cents. What's it called? Their big dog that I picked up last week. When you say pros and cons about the Mad Dog, what are you talking about? Or are you not even talking about a lure? All right, I'll show you. All right, so from 6 Cents, this guy is the Mag Dog. They make it in 2 sizes, but this is the 150. A pro about it is that it's going to attract big fish. A con about it is that it's giant. It weighs 1.5 ounces on its own. So a lot of people would put this in a box of its own. And by box, I mean a category, and consider this like a striper bait because of its size. It's 6 inches long and weighing 1.5 ounces. You're going to need a pretty heavy power rod to throw it on. So that's a little bit tricky to fish because you're going to need backbone to cast the bait, but then you're going to want a relatively parabolic bend in the rod in order to work the bait and keep a fish pinned on treble hooks once you get them hooked up. So not the easiest thing to fish. And another con is that this guy, the Mag Dog from 6 Cents, only has 2 hooks on it. Now they are giant hooks. These are like size 1/0 hooks or something. It doesn't say on the package, I don't think, but they're huge. I'll pull out my my other walking baits and show you the Strike King Mega Dog, which is essentially the equivalent. Here's that river to sea bait I was talking about. The Bubble Walker. This guy weighs a little bit over an ounce. Has those slits in the cupped face. Is a walking bait, but a popper at the same time. Would probably fall into that same category, though it's a little bit shorter. And then here's the Strike King Mega Dog. Okay? A little bit different profile. The Mega Dog is beefier. It's a wider profile bait, though they weigh about the same, coming in at about 1.5 ounces. Now, the nose is just a little bit different. So, both of these baits, being as big as they are going to go side to side some 12 to 18 inches, maybe further, depending on how hard you're twitching the bait. Listen to the difference in sound profile between these. The Mega Dog from Strike King has a knocker in there, but some higher pitched rattles. And it has 3 hooks on there. 1, 2, 3 that are all about size 2 trebles. Whereas the Mag Dog from 6 Cents just has a 1 knocker and those 2 larger EWG style trebles. So you get a little bit of a different style in these baits, though you're going to fish them in the same situations. So different sound profile and a little bit bigger, fatter profile in the Strike King Mega Dog. And you get slightly smaller hooks, but 3 of them. And I don't know if it's just a Strike King thing or what, but they put round bend hooks on their baits and on this bait specifically, whereas 6 Cents tends to put EWG hooks on a vast majority of their baits, if not all of them. And they've got larger, just 2 of them on this Mag Dog. So both baits retail in the ballpark of $15 and are definitely not cheap, but they're a little bit more niched in nature, okay? You're not going to throw them all the time. It's crazy to think that, you know, in comparison to like a standard walking bait, let me show you like, you know, here's the Evergreen Shower Blows. This is the 125 size. Here's the Strike King Sexy Dog. Size-wise, there's a huge difference, okay? The Sexy Dog is still a 3-hook topwater bait, but it's like 4.5 inches long. And when you compare it to the 6-inch Mega Dog, I mean, it's way, way smaller. The Mega Dog is giant. So, again, it's like a niche type of bait. You're not going to throw this all the time. You're going to throw it when you know you're around big fish or when you're looking to find big fish, but not necessarily always get bit, okay? So, you're going to throw a standard style, standard size walking bait, like the Catwalk from 6 Cents, the Sexy Dog from Strike King, the Berkeley Cane Walker in, I think they're 120 size, the Zara Super Spook, the Lucky Craft Gunfish in the 115. There's a bunch of baits. You know, the Mega Bass, Dog X Diamante. Like I said, the Shower Blows 125 from Evergreen. Most walking baits are going to be right in that like 5-inch range. and they're going to weigh about an ounce or a little less. So once you step up to that Mag Dog or the Mega Dog, it's a totally different style of bait. Okay? So, it's not that I don't recommend them, especially because I have one of each, but I'll admit I picked up this bait because it was on clearance from 6 cents. I absolutely love 6 cent baits, almost every one that they make. There's only one or two that I'm not a huge fan of. Love the paint jobs, love the hooks, and the fact that you can fish these straight out of the package, and they do a great job. But again, this is an ounce and a half on its own, so you really do need to throw this either on, like, you know, a jig rod that's going to be like a heavy power, fast action. And unfortunately, it's just not going to have as much give as you want. Once you hook a fish, you're going to need to like muscle them in. Or you're going to need to throw it on like a swim bait setup that's more of like a medium heavy, moderate, or moderate fast action, where you're going to have a little bit more give but still be able to huck the bait out there pretty easily. You're not going to want to throw it on your standard medium heavy, definitely not a medium type of setup. So what you'd normally fish your topwater walking baits on, you're not going to throw that guy on. Okay? Still 7 people in here. Any other questions that you guys might have? That was a good one, Riley. Again, we can talk about anything. Ordinarily, this time of year, I wouldn't go out of my way to talk about topwaters, but, you know, I'm willing to talk about whatever. I did pick up a really wild lure recently, and I don't know where it is, but I wanted to show it to you guys. I got it from my local Dick's. It's made by Berkeley, and you guys may or may not have seen it. I haven't seen a lot of marketing about this bait, but here it is, right in the middle. Can you guys see that? Maybe not. I'll dig it out for you. I keep it right in between my rats and my bats. And it's a freaking beaver. Look at this thing. It looks just like a tiny beaver. This is a wake bait. As you can see, it's even got the teeth painted on the bill. Super realistic. It's got the nose and the eyes. And then the tail is what swivels. It looks just like a beaver tail. And so this thing is going to wobble as the bait does. It's not going to slap the water, of course, but I thought that was a crazy looking design. And it might just be more of a novelty type of deal, but anyway, pretty wild. And I couldn't help myself. I picked one up. Looks like Ryan's out of here. All right, Ryan. Oh, no. Riley's out of here. All right. Well, guys, we could sign off here in a minute if you guys don't have any other questions. But, Riley, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. Appreciate you and your time. Hope you have a great rest of your night. Guys, to the other 6 of you in here watching right now, drop a comment if you got any questions or anything that you want to talk about for a minute. Otherwise, I'm going to dip out of here too. There's a million things we could talk about, but I didn't have really an agenda for tonight's live other than to open this month's discount tackle package for you and show you what I decided to pick up and why. And when and where I intend to fish those baits. So, 9 people in here now. Guys, hit that thumbs up button for me. I've got 11 thumbs up, 9 people in here. I don't even know what to talk about right now. No problem, Ryan. Thank you guys for hanging out. So I guess I'm going to dip out of here, even though we've got more people jumping in. It's been fun. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Good Saturday tomorrow. Yes, please do, Ryan. If you catch some fish, send them to me. Even if they're just pics of the fish. You don't need to get video footage of the fish chasing up the bait on your electronics. Though if you do manage to get that, it would be that much cooler. So, yeah, I'd love to see the results that you get. Love to see some pics of some lake trout. Anyway, hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Thank you so much for hanging out. Appreciate you. Thanks for your support. We're at 2,500 subscribers right now. If you're still watching this and you aren't subscribed to the channel for whatever reason, do me that solid. And until next time, guys, peace out.